Well, unfortunately, this is kind of a sad story. Not a great ending, but this is a 2002 Polaris Sportsman 500 HO. The owner of this picked it up. He paid all the money for it, like $3,000, $3,500, somewhere around there. I forgot, it's been so long, I forgot what he said. It was either $3,000 or $3,500 back a few years ago when the prices just skyrocketed off everything because you couldn't get them. Anyways, he got it home, 30 minutes of runtime on this thing after he got it home and the engine seized up. He started going through it himself. He drained the oil reservoir because this is a dry sump engine, so the oil's held in a oil reservoir. He drained it. A lot of coolant come out, he said. Well, he said water. He went to drain the engine oil out of the engine. It holds a little bit, and he got nothing. Anyways, let's take a look at the machine. Overall, it's actually in pretty good shape. It's got like brand new tires on it. Rims are banged up here and there. It was a plow rig. They got a winch on it. They got a plow mount on it. So she's a little rusty here and there. But overall, it's not bad. Is it worth the kind of money he paid for it? No, especially since how it blew up. So not only was it horrible that he got basically screwed on the deal because he paid all the money for it, got it home. He bought it from a known reseller. So this guy buys and sells all the time. And he told him, and he said it was an as-is sale, and that was that. So unfortunately, he didn't help out. Anyways, he brought it here, and this guy is actually family, which is probably why this thing's been here for so long. I've been behind on a lot of my work. Definitely a lot of my work. This one, I knew I was behind on it, but I didn't think I was that behind. So I really thought this thing had been here a year. It's been 2 years. I just looked at my messages. It's been here 2 years. Anyways, let me show you what I found, and we'll get into that rebuild. I don't have good news for him. For one, as you can see, the engine's out. So I started by taking the top end off. The cylinder head actually looked very good, but the further I went down, the worse it got. In here you can see some heavy scarring. I can pick them up with my fingernail. That side is not as bad, but that was certainly a bad side there. If we look at our piston, same thing. This side is not horrible. This side is horrible. The worst part about it, check that wrist pin out. I had to beat that thing out of there. It was so frozen there, which obviously means we got to get into the lower end of this thing. Because this is our wrist pin right here. I'm pretty sure you can see that scarring on there. I mean, I can grab it with my fingernail. That's some pretty heavy scarring on that wrist pin. So connecting rod or crank has to be changed out. Before he brought it to me, he did go back, called the person that sold it to him, asked, is there anything you can do for me? And it was just a no answer. It was sold as is, which, when you're buying used, most of the time you are buying it as is. However, somebody that buys and sells stuff a lot like I do, I would have definitely made that right. Unfortunately, they didn't want to. Anyways, this is where we're at right now. We've gotten a lot of machines out, and this one has just been put on the back burner for far too long. I ended up pulling the engine out. Like I said, it was all together. I tore the top end off, found some problems, so I pulled the engine out. I'll show you where we're at now. Okay, so first thing I noticed is when I pulled the cylinder head off, a little bit of rust in there. The cylinder head actually looked pretty good. We gotta rebuild this connecting rod. New piston, new cylinder. We got a little bit of work ahead of us for sure, so let's get to it. We're gonna go ahead and pull the crank out here. We're gonna make sure there's a couple of marks here. I want to make sure when we assemble this, I know it's hard to see. I know it's a little hard to see because of the rust. I'll clean that up, but there is a little pin dot there and right there, and you want to line those up, the crank and the crank balancer, when you put this back together. Might as well go ahead and get the oil pump off of here. that out of there. Crank balancer. See if we can sneak it up. Beautiful. And now the crank. And this, we might need a puller. We might be able to get it off with a soft hammer. We'll see. Looks like she's coming out pretty good. Beautiful. We are gonna scrub that down because it is very contaminated with all kinds of debris. And yes, we're gonna put a new connecting rod on there because that one is scarred up beyond repair. Pull the crank apart. We got the nut. We got our crank gear. Go ahead and get these keys out of here. Get that one. Then we gotta get that little guy. That little half moon out of there. Now we can pull the bearing off. Just like that. Oh. Remember, our spacer goes in there. Then that gear can come off. And we'll come on this side and take the bearings off. There's one of them. That should be both. There's the other. Went ahead, separated the old connecting rod, so we're left with two half crankshafts. Now we're going to put a new Nemura connecting rod in there. Might be wondering why I'm missing a pin. I already have the pin in the freezer overnight, so I'll be able to install it a little easier. But we got our roller bearing, and we got our connecting rod. Alright, so this hole right here, we need to line that up with the hole in the pin so the oil can flow through. So I'm going to mark that right in the center. Here's our frozen connecting rod pin. Go ahead and pull that out of there. There's that. That's the hole we're going to line up. So we're going to go ahead and just set this into place. Make sure we get her started good here. just press it in there. Make sure we're still lined up. Just gonna double check it. I think we still got a little ways to go here. Yeah, we do. Double check. A couple more times. Check that. Beautiful. We're looking to get this flush, so we're good there. And if you want to make sure that your holes are lined up so oil's going to go through, you can go ahead. There's a hole right there. And then you're going to make sure it's coming out that hole right there. Go ahead, get some oil on here. We'll get our new roller bearing. Install that. Plenty of oil on there. Work it in. New connecting rod. Get that on there. Beautiful. Go ahead and set this in here. I'm going to start pressing her down. And when we're pressing this down, we want to make sure we get our feeler gauge ready because we don't want to go any tighter than 0.0039 of an inch, and we don't want to go any looser than 0.0256 of an inch. So that thickness to this thickness, basically. This is 0.004, this is 0.024. So there's quite a difference that you could be there. And you want to make sure this is lined up as true as you can get it before you press it down, obviously. Right. You always want to make sure this is spinning. You don't want that binding up at all. We still got a long ways to go, but we're getting there. Now remember, this is our thickest, so we're going to want to get close and try that. This is a 20-ton jack, and it's barely enough to do this. A little more. Try the 004, we can shove that in. And the 024, I can't. So we're good right there. As you can see, it kind of jumps because it's not a big enough press. So if you're gonna go, you'll do it. You'll get it as close as you can. Like I said, I can't shove the 024 in, and 004 I can shove in, so we're good. Go ahead and see what it actually is here. You can get a 007. Zero 010. Yep. I can get 10 thou in. Let's try 15. 15. Ooh, that's tight. 16. Can't get 16 in. Let's shove this right over to the side. No. So we're 15 thou for the side end clearance here. Now we're going to put it on the truant stand. Okay, we got it on the truant stand right here. We'll zero our dial indicator out. So you can see that we're off here. Our max run out should be 0.0024 max, and we got, let's see if we move it down here. Right there's probably the furthest we got. 1, 2, about 3 thousandths there. But if you go to the other side, where yeah, about 3 to 4 thousandths. So what we got to do is we got to pull this out. We got to pull this out. And then we got to hit the end. That's where the brass hammer comes in handy. We can hit one side and twist it without damaging the crank. Alright, so if we zoom in to our dial indicator now, you can see we're quite a bit better. We're actually probably, let's see, furthest out, right there. To our furthest out. So we got a max of 1, 2, 3 thousandths right there. That's from this side to this side. Alright, we'll check that. Looks like we're at about max of 002 there. That's the furthest away. We come up. Right there's 0. Go ahead and try it one more time. That's pretty good. Turn the crank around. We'll check this end. We can go ahead and check right on the end of the taper. I expect it to move because there's definitely some pitting on here. We'll go slow. Yes. Actually looks pretty good. You can see that needle kind of flickering. It's because of all the pitting. So went ahead, cleaned out both sides of the cases. Got the crank assembly all reinstalled. We're reusing the main bearings. Save a little on cost. We didn't buy new ones. These ones are still good shape. We got the new connecting rod on. So we're ready to assemble this. Now we can go ahead and install this crank on this side of the crankcase. I want to keep that rod on the bottom here. Beautiful. Now we can install our crank balancer. We'll find our little dot there, line it up with this dot. Just like that. As you can see here on the crank side, we got a little dot. On the counterbalancer side, we have the little dot. We line those up, and then we're in time with the counterbalancer. I pulled the oil pump off, cleaned all that out. It actually looked really good inside. Got the oil pump gear installed, ready to throw some sealant around this thing, and then put it together. There's all kinds of different sealers you can use. I use Yama Bond 4. It's my preference, But there's all kinds of crankcase sealers you can use for these. These do not run gaskets, so just a super thin layer of sealant on each side, and then we'll slap it together. Get this side as well. Now that we got sealant on both sides, a little bit of oil on the shafts here. Now we can spin this around, and we'll go ahead and put the two halves together. Rubber dead blow hammer. Make sure that connecting rod's in the right place. Put our crank bolts in. Get these inner ones started first. Snug those up, not torquing them down yet. Just give her a little hammer to seat everything. We can tighten the other stuff up. Now that everything's snugged up, we can go ahead and torque these down to 14 foot-pounds. We'll go back through and double check. Everything seems good. Oh yeah, I also installed a new water pump seal, and the rubber seal and the mechanical seal in here. There. We're getting the top end ready to install. Checking the ring end gap. I got my top ring installed. Pushed it down with the piston. This should be about 0.008 thousandths to 0.014, so 14 thou. 8 fits in. There's 13. Well, it did. Pretty, very tight. 14 doesn't fit in there. So we know our ring end gap is good there. Check our second ring. Zero 014 doesn't fit in. Let's see, 009 does. So that one's good. Go ahead and check our oil rings. Now, this is a different limit here. And we're good on those. We'll get our new base gasket installed. Getting our rings on there. Get the oil rings on already. Get the second compression ring. Beautiful. And the top. Just like so. Always want the letters facing up. A little oil on our wrist pin. Go ahead and throw that in. I installed the clip already on one side. Now these two notches, or sometimes they'll have an arrow depending on the piston, but on these 500 Polarises anyways, they go towards the mag side, the magneto side. So the other side where your clutch would go on, that's the PTO side. This is the mag side. So it's going to go just like this. Throw a little oil on the new connecting rod. We'll just push that in. Spin her around. Go ahead and get our new clip in. Before we install the cylinder, I already wiped it out with some WD-40, but now I'm just going to throw some engine oil right on the inside of that sleeve. So we already clocked our piston rings. We want to make sure those stay in the correct position. And then we'll go ahead and drop this down on there. Now we can just slide her down on. There we go. Obviously the piston got pushed down, but we can pick it right back up. Doesn't matter, it's... There we go. Get her back up to the top. Wipe away any of that excess oil that's on there. And yes, if you were wondering, I went ahead, took the cylinder head all apart, took the valves out, lapped them, so they're nice and they get a nice finish to them now. And I removed all the valve seals. Going to install new. Go ahead and do that now. And then a little oil, and then on they go. Now that I got those installed, we can flip this over and put our valves in. Oil on the valve stem. Beautiful. And last one, another intake. Get it past that valve seal, and then we can put them all on. 1, 2, and 4. Get our clips in there. There's one, now we just got to do the other 3. Beautiful. So a lot of work went into the engine. Other than the engine, when I got it all together, took it for a ride, and it was feeling very sluggish. I didn't go very far, but it was feeling very sluggish. This has the old style rear caliper bolted right to the gear case and or the transaxle, whatever you want to call it on this. And this thing was seized up. I mean, it wasn't seized completely, but it was definitely hanging up. So when I stopped, this thing was very hot. So I took it apart, cleaned everything. Pads were like new. It was just stuck from sitting, I'm guessing. His muffler was rotted on the bottom and on the top. I was gonna throw a patch in it when I saw just the side bottom one, but well, I don't have to just explain it. I can show you because I still got it. It's right here. As you can see, all rotted at the top. This thing's pretty tender. Like I said, it was a plow rig, so a little rusty. Probably seen some salt. Anyways, I just threw a used one on for him that's in good shape. This one's solid, no leaks, sounds good. I gave that to him for free. I mean, it's the least I could do with how long this thing's been here. Definitely not proud of this repair. Like I said, it's just been on the back burner for so long, and I really didn't think it was that long, but there's just been so many machines that keep getting ahead, and people call or text or whatever, and they say, hey, you know, can I have my machine? I really need it for next week or something. So I try to finish that one, and then this and this. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, I guess. But yeah. And I looked back in his messages, and it had been almost a year since he had sent me the last message. So obviously he should have bugged me more. I should have been more on top of it. Basically, I should throw this in for free. I can't afford to do that. I'm not charging a lot. I think I gotta look at the price, and probably $800 for the whole engine repair. That's my labor and parts and everything, which is a pretty good deal. Yeah. But if we come over here now, she's a good running engine. Sounds great. A little cold right now. The speedometer's doing some funky things. It says it's doing 10 miles an hour sitting here. Doesn't seem to... I was thinking it was the Hall sensor on the wheel that runs off the rotor, but now I'm thinking it's not because we're not moving anywhere. Usually that would just show 0, and this one's showing that it's moving, so might be a bad speedometer. We'll give her a little test run. When he brought this to me, he had it partially torn down, so he had the front rack, the bumpers, the winch, all that off. The front fenders were off, the side panels, everything was off, floorboards, and he didn't bring that to me. I don't know if he brought the seat or not. I don't think so. He kept all that. He dropped this machine off because he just wanted me to do the engine rebuild, and then he was going to reassemble everything. Well, a couple months went by, and then he decided to bring me the rest of it and said, well, you might as well just do everything. So the problem is this thing's been here so long, I don't know if I misplaced it or if he never brought it to me. I'm missing this front hood cover. I really hope he has it at his house somewhere. I sent him a video of this thing showing him it's finally done. And other than we're missing that, I have not heard back from him yet. So I'm waiting on that. Like I said, I really hope he has it because if I lost it, that's horrible. But I'll definitely get him a replacement. All right, let's hop on. Like I said, I drove it around here a little bit. So, high range, we'll take off. This is an 02, as I said. And I always say it, but it's because that's the truth. Even this 2002 Polaris Sportsman 500 has a smoother ride than some brand new machines out there. Not all of them, but definitely some. Now the engine is running great. Sounds good. Sounds like it should anyways. I did see we got a couple of ripped CV boots in the back. This one's just like, oh man, I don't even. I have no words. Like I said, I thought it was a year. Even a year's way too long, but we're coming up on 2 years now. It hasn't technically been 2 years, but very close. And it's not right. Now, I do want to check the all-wheel drive, so we'll take it through some of these smaller trails here. Now, as you can see, if you watched the video before this, you can see that I rebuilt just everything in there. New oil pump. Now, I know I don't have a complete full video of me repairing it, and that is due to, this thing, definitely a bear. This thing, it's just been, it's been here so long. I'll get to it, and then I kind of put it on the back burner. I did the engine multiple times. I'd start it, I'd get a little bit done, and then I'd set it aside and work on something else. And I'm not sure why I do. It's because I got so much work, but I could have dedicated, a couple full days to this thing, and it would have been done. Well, maybe. I should have dedicated more time to it, is what I'm trying to say, but who the heck's been down there? My water goes through here, so I don't know why there's four-wheeler tracks. Anyways, we'll continue on. One thing I don't like about this style Polaris, they're like, even my diesel's like that. Just the shift pattern. These things are kind of funky. I mean, you get the hang of them, they're not bad, but all the way up to the left is high, all the way back is reverse, and then go halfway is neutral, and then you got to go over and up for low range. And in theory, it's a good idea because you high and reverse are quick snaps, and then if you want to go in low range, it's over. However, if you're working these things like plowing, you got to go over and then down and then down, and I see a lot of them get worn out. I don't know if it's from misuse. Like even this, see if it's going now, but like right there it says reverse, so I gotta come back to reverse, put it up, and then over. If they had it the opposite, low, reverse, and then high to the right, I think that would be better. Maybe not if you're trail riding, but when you're trail riding, usually you put it in high and you're riding.
you know, for a while before you're shifting. When you're working it, you're constantly like plowing, you're constantly going back and forth from low to reverse. So the new ones that are straight shifts, I like them better. So we're gonna come up through here, and we should start spinning here. Definitely spinning, as you can see. So we're gonna stop, we're gonna slide it over to all-wheel drive, and now that tire's kicking in, this tire's kicking in, so we're working good. We did get a little rut here, so a little further back and then hammer on it a little bit, and she popped right up out. I don't like how that tree's leaning, but we are coming up through. So all-wheel drive works, that's a plus. So we're gonna get over that little log. And there she goes. That's one thing, all the little clips, I still got to buy the clips for these things. They're all busted or rusted. They have like clips in the back for your screws to connect these, and they're all busted, so I got to get some new ones. But other than that, I just wanted to see what else he wanted done, so that's where we're at right now. One of the good things about Polaris is you can put it in all-wheel drive as long as the system's working right, and all-wheel drive. All four tires are spinning, technically. So right now, without us spinning the rear wheels, I can turn this almost as good as in two-wheel drive. They don't actually kick in until your rear tire starts spinning, and then your front will kick in. So it's a good system as far as like you can run it in all-wheel drive all the time, and it's not gonna be too bad. But I've done plenty of test rides on these Polaris Sportsman 500s, you know, more in depth. This one, I didn't know if I was gonna do a video on it. Like I said, it's back and forth. I decided, let's just do a video, and then people will see why I'm not taking work for my sake and their sake. I still got a few projects to clean up, but this was the oldest, and like I said, it's a family member, so I don't know if that makes it worse. Probably does, but that's kind of why it got put behind, I think. Took advantage of him being a nice guy, you know, not really bugging me about the machine at all, when he should have been, because I honestly, so much work, I just forget about it. I know it's there, it's right in my way, but I'm thinking, okay, this guy's bugging me, gotta get this, and I don't know. I'll get back to taking work here one of these days. That's right, that mount is loose on the bottom, so that's what that noise was. I went out and bought some new U-bolts. As you can see, she's a little floppy. But radiator, the fan kicked on. It kicks off, it's heating up, cooling down good. It's a good machine. Now, a few little things. I can see some moisture building up in there. Wonder if that's the problem with it. I don't know. I'll have to see if he wants me to do that stuff. Like I said, I was going to throw a bunch of free stuff in because of that, but I'm giving him a good deal on the engine rebuild, I think anyways, and I'm giving him the free muffler. Not a huge deal. They're not a ton of money, but now, for those of you guys that haven't watched a lot of my other videos, all this stuff is not customers. These guys are not waiting on me. These are all mine, other than a Kawasaki Lakota over here that I still haven't got paid for an engine rebuild on that, and that's been here a year now. That was last September. No, that wasn't last September. He brought the motorcycle to me in September. I mean, I got the motorcycle in September done. And then this was done in like October or November. But he was supposed to pick up the motorcycle first. And they're both still here. I've been in contact with him, but it's been a couple months since I've heard from him. I don't know what to do. I need the money, but I don't really want to sell the stuff on him, you know. It's, to me, that's not right. I know it's probably the right thing to do, maybe, if I don't know. Anyways, I can't complain too much about that because, like I said, I have had this guy's machine for 2 years. So I guess that's a little payback for that. But I got quite a bit of my own money invested in the motorcycle and the bike, the four-wheeler. The motorcycle, we did all new brakes, did quite a bit of stuff on that thing. Anyways, as you can see, I got a few other machines that need to be done. This one, I'm still waiting on the guy to get back to me. I texted him, or messaged him like early this morning, and I haven't heard anything yet. So we'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. A little different, probably, because it's all pieced together. But have a good one, and thank you for watching.